Hello, my name is Miss Sasha. I'm a teaching artist in the PACE art program through the Acadiana Center for the Arts with the Lafayette Parish school system in Lafayette, Louisiana. Today we are going to be creating a leopard in his natural habitat. What is a habitat? Any good guesses? A habitat is the natural home or environment of a plant or an animal. Today our jungle is going to be the natural habitat for our leopard. Jungle is an area of overgrown and very dense forest and tangled vegetation. Tangled vegetation means like vines, lots of plants, overgrown, dense, very thick, very covered and shaded, very cool, sometimes often wet like a rainforest. So we're going to do our background first, but our supplies that we need to collect are very simple. We need glue and scissors, some white paper, just like I have up here. Any paper will do. A little bit of green construction paper. I just have a little sliver. And some recycling from your recycling bin. We're going to be using the brown side to do our leopard. An assortment of colored crayons. That's going to be for our flowers, fruits, whatever's in the background of our leopard. And we definitely need brown, black, and white. Alrighty, now is a good time to pause your video, collect your supplies, and when you return, all you have to do is press play. Now that we've gathered all of our supplies, it's time to get started. We're going to do our background, which is going to be his habitat. And leopards are very adaptable. They live in many different places across the globe, from Africa, Turkey, all the way to Sri Lanka. They live in rainforests, deserts, woodlands, savannas, forests, mountains, swamps, etc. So they're very adaptable to the habitat that's around them. Leopards are considered to be, they are bigger than a house cat, but they're the smallest member of the large cat family. And the large cat family consists of lions, tigers, jaguars, and snow leopards as well, along with this leopard right here. So let's get started on our background, his habitat. I did some large, big leaves in the background. If you have a different plan for your background, that's fine. If you want your if you want your leopard to live in a different habitat, that's fine. Ours is going to live in a jungle for now. So you can take any green that you'd like or blue. In fact, I'll go ahead and do these leaves in blue. This is zigzag, up, down, up, down, up, down, like a palmetto leaf. You can put lines in it. And then you can color it in with a green. That way you can see the lines on the inside of the leaf veins. Big palmetto. Some of these plants might even have like some type of a flower growing out of them. Maybe it's a bunch of little flowers that go all the way down. This is just little purple circles. And let's go ahead. I'm going to pick a different blue or a dark green. And these are just some big leaves. Remember, this is going to be all behind him in the background. And let me get a dark green. Maybe I'll do some little zigzags. Color these in. It's kind of going over my leaf veins, but that's okay. You can always go back and darken it with a darker blue. I'll show you. Let's see, or purple. Purple will do. Watch. You can make your background as colorful as you want it to be. I could also add flowers to those large leaves as well. So let's go ahead and add a few big flowers to our background before we add our little our vines. Vines are things that large plant-like things that hang from the trees. All right, let's do flowers. Let's see. Put a couple of big colorful circles. You can use whatever color you want. You can even put a different color around it, like that. And then pick a color that you want, for your flower petals. You could do them all different, if you like. See? Now, let's go ahead, let's add some leaves. Look. What color did you do your flowers? Some people like to do them all different colors and have a variety of colors in their background. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do our vines. Before we do our vines, I'm going to take this green and I'm going to use the side of it by pinching it. And I'm just going to rub the background, make it look very jungly. There, because my vines can go right over that by using a dark purple. Over here I use blue and purple, and I'm looking for a dark green. Here we go. Here's my dark green, watch. Curly, 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 curly. You could do wavy. You could do kind of zigzag. Any way you'd like, as long as it's dense and full of foliage. And then on this one, I went back and added some little flowers to my vines. Look. Some were just circles all the way down. Maybe I'll do each vine a little bit different. Maybe on the zigzag one, I'll do some little zigzag flowers. Maybe I'll put a few more flowers down at the bottom. Right? What do you think? How's my background looking? Just so you know, leopards can weigh 46 to 132 pounds. The 46 would be more like the female leopard, and the 132 pounds would be more like the male leopard. They can be anywhere from 3 to 6 feet long. So their tail, though, is 25 to 40 inches long. So that really makes the leopard look a little bit bigger than it really is due to the length of its tail. Now that our background's all completed, it's time to start creating our leopard. Go ahead and get your recycling. I have mine. I'm going to tape it up here so we can work together. All right, we're going to build our leopard in 3 parts. His body, his head, and his tail. All right, go ahead and get your black crayon. You see this little fold right here? Okay, his body is a tall bump. A tall, skinny bump. So look, I'm going to start at the bottom on this little fold right here. I'm going to go up and curve down. Look, it's not too wide. It's not much wider than my hand. That's his body. Let's go ahead and put this little tummy there. Great. Next to it, we'll go ahead and build his little head. All right? His head is the shape of a circle or an oval. Watch, right here. Nice and big. Remember, it's got to fit on his head. So if you make it too tiny, it's going to look silly, and we won't be able to add all the details to his face. So if that's not the right size, then get another piece of cardboard and make the right size. Okay? On the top of that, he's got little ears. Look. They're not on the top and they're not on the side. They're right in the middle. And it, too, is a bump and a bump. Inside of that, we're going to put a tiny bump and color it in. Tiny bump and color it in. Great. We're going to start by adding his little nose. His little nose is the triangle right here. Right here. Do a horizontal line and a letter V. You're making a triangle. And we're going to color that triangle in. We're going to put a little number 1 and 2 diagonal lines. That's his little mouth. You can even touch that if you'd like. From the top of his nose, we're going to do these 2 vertical lines that go straight up. Look. Like a number 11. Those are parallel lines, lines that don't ever intersect. Great. We're going to make this curved line that goes around his nose all the way to his little mouth. So I'm going to start above my nose. I'm going to curve down and curve down. It's almost like a circle hidden behind the nose. Okay? We're all good? Great. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of darken this, make it a little bit darker. You can do that to his mouth. We're going to add his eyes. His eyes are kind of shaped like footballs. They take up a good bit of space. Our eyes are green, their eyes are yellow. You can decide what color you want your eyes to be. So look, I did a curve and a curve. Looks like he's sleeping. I'm going to wake him up. A curve down and a curve down. Inside that space, fill it with a circle. Look, round and round. And put a little pupil in the middle. Starting to look like a leopard, huh? Great. Now, let's go ahead and create his tail. We're going to use this bottom piece. If you don't have this piece down here, go get another piece of cardboard so that'll fit. Remember, his tail is really, really long. So we're going to make a very long tail. We're going to make it sideways because that's where it fits on my paper. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go wavy, wavy. I'm giving it some space. Wavy, and then I'm going to curve it around. Okay? If you want to make it darker, go right ahead. This is the outline of our leopard. I'm also going to make this a little bit darker, this a little bit darker. I know we're using a lot of black, but we're getting all of his parts all ready to go. While we have our black, let's go ahead and make a few spots. I made some on his little chin right here. Make some on his forehead or his nose bridge. You could do a few on his ears. We're going to add more colors to it. See how they have lots of black? They're actually black and brown. And we're going to add a little bit of white around it too. You could do a few bigger ones on the side of his face. So looking great. And we're going to do them all over his body. Okay, you can do some that are bigger, some that are clustered together, meaning they're close. Look at these. They're everywhere. So if you see on this picture that you want to add more somewhere else, go right ahead. Let's just do it with black first, and then we'll add the other colors in a minute. Oh, don't forget to put some on his tail. I don't have any pictures of his tail, but I did look it up, and he's covered in spots on his tail. There. That looks perfect. Their spots are called rosettes because they kind of look like they're shaped like little roses if you're able to look up close, which is pretty cool. They also use all of their spots for camouflage. So when they're hiding up in the trees in the jungle, they spend a lot of time in the trees. When they're hiding up in those trees, they use those as camouflage. So they blend in really nicely into their surroundings. Now that we're done adding all the black detail, let's grab our white crayon. All right, we're going to color in his little face. It's okay if it blends with the black a little bit. That's completely fine. We're going to end up adding whiskers over there. And his tummy. It doesn't show up a lot, it just adds a little bit of detail, and that's fine. Some leopards have little or more white on their tummy. And then go ahead and add some white around some of your spots. I've added a little bit around some of them like this. It adds to the shape of the rosette that we talked about. Perfect. Go ahead and color in your cat's eyes. Some people might want them green, you might want them blue, you might want them yellow. Either or all of the above is fine. I don't think that my yellow will show up, which is why I chose green. Let's see. If I color real hard, it kind of shows up. Let's see. No, not so much. I'm going to go with green. If it'll let me, a little bit of green. There, a little bit. Perfect. When you're done coloring in his eyes, grab your brown. Grab your brown. Okay, we're going to go ahead and color in some of his ears up here with the brown. See, it's a little darker on their edges right here. Right? I went around the edge of my leopard with the brown, and I'm coloring in the bridge of his nose with the brown. And again, it's okay if it blends with the black and the white. That's all good. There we go. Starting to look like a real leopard. I'm going to go around the edge of my body and the edge of my tail. See? Kind of like the inside edge and right here. Great. And also around the edge of my tail. We're going to cut this out, so if you go out of the lines, no big deal. Okay. I'm also going to add some brown to the spots or the rosettes on the leopard's body. So watch. Good. While you're filling in your spots and adding to your rosettes, I'll give you a few more leopard facts. Leopards are carnivores. That means they eat meat. They're not real picky about what meat they eat. They'll dine on anything from gazelles to baboons, rodents like rats or whatever, monkeys, snakes, small birds that they can catch, amphibians like lizards, geckos, fish, antelope, warthogs, porcupines. They're just not very picky. They keep their cubs, their babies, in a den for safety. They do not hibernate, but they do keep them in a den after they're born for safety. They usually have about 2 or 3 cubs, and the cubs live with them for up to about 3 years. Leopards can run up to 36 miles an hour. They can jump 20 feet, and they can leap 10 feet straight up in the air. 10 feet. Straight up. That's amazing. They don't drink much water. They get hydrated by all the meat that they eat. They can hear amazingly well. Amazing. So they're known for their golden spots on their bodies. So that's how we can tell that a leopard is a leopard. They're very solitary creatures, meaning they like to live alone. They don't run in a group or a herd. They are very graceful, but super ferocious hunters. You don't want to get in their way. They're also nocturnal. They're awake at night. At night is when they hunt. At night is when they find their food, and they live most of their time up in those trees. Are you done with your spots? Perfect. Well, we're almost done with drawing our leopard. We have a few more details to add, like his little whiskers. They come off of his little cheeks. If there's any more details or more spots that you want to add, now is the time to do it. I'm going to add a few more up here, and then maybe a few more tiny ones on his body. Some people might want to add some little eyelashes. This one doesn't have any. but you can do some on this one. When you're all done adding your detail, get your scissors. All right, we're going to carefully cut out our leopard. I'm going to cut out his tail. It's okay if you stay a little bit on the edge. Try not to cut off any of your crayons. If you need help doing this, you can ask a family member. Sometimes the cardboard could be a little thick for your little fingers. That's why we have helpers. If not, just do your best. Here is my tail. Now for my body. His little body. And the head. Be careful not to cut your ears off. But if you do cut them off, just save them and we'll glue them back on. It's as simple as that. Sometimes we get excited about cutting and we might just go straight through. Happens all the time. But we're just going to keep his little ear. And since we're using glue, we're able to glue it right back on. Okay. All done with cutting. Take your time. Here's my little head. Here's my little body. Maybe this time I'll put him close to this side and put his tail on the other. Watch. I can move it around to see where the best place is. Look. Oh, I don't have tape on that one. While you're cutting it out, I'll start getting mine all placed. Look, you can do his head tilted, straight, tilted, straight on, however you want. Look, he's super cute. Great. When you have all of your parts all cut out, we can go ahead and start gluing it. I'm going to glue my body first. I'll move my tail over and my head over. Mine's a little bit harder because it's straight up on the wall. So I have tape on the back of mine to hold it up, but you're working flat. So yours shouldn't fall off. I'm going to put mine right here. I'm going to press it down. And I have my little head. Put a little bit of glue on the back. See? I'm going to do his head straight instead of tilted like this one. But remember, you have the option to put it however you want. If you don't want to glue his ears down, you can kind of bend them up and they can stick off the page a little bit. See? I'm going to press mine down. Well, we don't want to keep the tail over here. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back. See? I'm going to be generous with it because it's... Now, you can tuck it right under and then press it down. See? Look at it. Look how cute it is. His tail is long. Remember, we discussed that. His tail is very long. He uses it for balance, for jumping through the trees, for speed. He uses it as kind of like a boat rudder. It keeps him straight. So they're really, really fast. They're really, really smart and fast. And they like to hunt at night. So now I have this little strip of green paper. That's how I made these grass triangles. So I just cut a strip off of here. I went like this. And then I can just go back and forth, look, and make triangles. You can see it with your scissors, look. See how it makes a triangle? And then you cut. Does this make a triangle? No. But if you go to this corner, it makes a triangle. Look. Once I have all my grasses cut, I can put a few grass stripes, maybe one in front of him. He's hiding. He's camouflage in his jungle environment, his habitat. Put those green. See? Perfect. Another thing you can do is if you have some tissue paper, like different colored tissue paper, you can kind of tear. This is just extra things. You can tear it and kind of crumble it, and you could use it as flowers. Watch. See? Little flowers. They can be in the grasses, or they could be in the trees. Look. You just press it onto there. It makes for cute little flowers. Another thing you can do is draw some different shapes, flowers, on a piece of construction paper and cut it out. And then you can use some little yellow dots to make your flower centers. Look, so flowers can be as simple as circles. You can always cut out some green leaves. I'll show you on here. Look, you can go curve this way and make a leaf. I'll do it again. Curve and then curve. Making leaves. If you bend them on the end and just put a little bit of glue, they'll stick out from your paper. Watch. See? Look. Bend. Put a little bit of glue. Like, maybe I'll move this one over. It could be the leaves of this flower. Like that. Right? So there's endless possibilities to your jungle. You can add anything to your background. You can get some more recycled paper and make a flower where you just bend up the edges. Let me see if I can show you. You cut out a little square, and then you just cut a few little tiny little cuts in there. Don't cut all the way to the center. You can have colored that, and then you can bend some of them up. Makes little three-dimensional flowers. Look. See? And then you can color them. And you can glue them in your jungle. Yeah, be creative. Thank you so much for joining me while I create this little leopard with you. We'll be posting a new lesson every day at 10 a.m. on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel for kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade, each tied to an academic curriculum. You can also get these lessons on AOC as part of the Learn United program, accessible on AOC on Cox Channel 16 or LUS Channel 4. Kindergarten lessons air at 8 and 1st and 2nd grades at 9. Some lessons will be in visual arts and some in creative movement. Be sure to come back and make art with us tomorrow. If you're interested in supporting programs like this, visit Acadiana Center for the Arts.org, the nonprofit who manages the PACE program. Spread the word, share our videos, and keep making art.